Hello, this is Anna Lowe, and I'm here to talk to you about the inspiration from my new Château Nocturne series. I was actually still writing my previous series, Spellbound in Sedona, and my mind, I think I was only like on book 1 or 2, but my mind was already I was thinking ahead, what might my next series be. And I happened to I was in Scotland in the summer of 2024, and I came across this castle called, manor house called Calendar House. It's not that far from Edinburgh. It's near Falkirk, actually. And this beautiful manor house slash chateau with the central part and the wings on either side and stretching over quite an area with beautiful grounds around it. And I was like, this is it. This is perfect. You can have shifters living. You can have apartments in different sections of the chateau. You can have that central section where they have like a community area, because I think those are elements that work well in the series, where you have different characters that can each have their own story and each owns they're adults, a own place to live, but something that brings them together in one place too. So I thought this chateau would be perfect. Looking at it, as you enter, there's this grand hallway with staircases that go up either side, and that is prominent from chapter 2 in book 1, and you'll see it again and again with kind of these staircases that go up in a little balcony at the top, or if you're at the balcony looking down, you see the front door. In one of the upstairs wings is the library that features in several scenes through different books in the series. Oh, and they have a cafe in the drawing room upstairs, and that is exactly. I went there and I spent a good hour there having cake and thinking about, I was so excited about this new series, and that figures in all the books. The characters sitting in this beautiful upstairs room looking over this view over the south lawn into the forest. Downstairs is a kitchen, and actually they filmed an Outlander scene here. They kind of, turned the lights down and made it look very medieval, but it is very medieval. And the kitchen is exactly, I use this as my inspiration for the kitchen in Château Nocturne. So Château Nocturne, the building, is 100% taken from, 99% taken from Calendar House. The views over the roofs, so Calendar House, that was amazing. And from that point on, I was like, wow, okay, something with a chateau where all the shifters are living together. At the same time, one of the channels I found on YouTube that actually I've been watching since the COVID lockdown it's called Mapperton Live. It's a YouTube channel, and it's done by the Earl and Countess of Sandwich. She's actually American, who married into the British aristocracy. And I love their content because they've inherited this big estate, this big house and a big estate, but it's a lot of hard work to keep it up. And it's just like, how do you make ends meet, and how do you somehow make an income, and how do you keep up all these different buildings? So I loved their hands-on, hardworking approach, and all the balls they have in the air. And I thought, well, this would be perfect, that kind of thing, that the characters in the chateau that I've used Calendar House. So I'm not using the Mapperton house look, but I'm using the Mapperton lifestyle or the problems, the challenges that they face there for my heroines in my Château Nocturne series set in the building that's Calendar House. And luckily, in July 2025, I was in England for a book fair, and I made a detour to visit Mapperton, and I got to see it in person. I was so excited to see the house, and after seeing so many episodes of, how they fix this and how they fix that and how they're still hoping to fix that, it was really exciting to be there. And it gave me little ideas for details. They have one of the parts of, they have these big lawns. They have a croquet lawn, it's called, on one side of the house. And I love the idea of a croquet lawn, and that directly made the inspiration for the bonus scene to book 1. So that's all I'm saying. If you haven't read it, you got it. Finally, all of this in my mind was playing in France. I love France, and I love setting stories there. I actually live in Germany. My mom was born in France, and my mom likes to travel there as often, once a year if she can, to visit her relatives and so on. So we were actually there, and we went to Burgundy, which was new to us. It's a wine growing area. And while I was there, I was like, yeah, this is, where in France am I going to set this chateau series? Burgundy. You've got the vineyards, you've got forests, you've got rivers, canals. As we traveled through, we see these beautiful little towns, but they're very much they're kind of dying out, like there's like one last boulangerie kind of holding on to, it's like the last business in town, and you can see that 3 or 4 or 5 other businesses have all shut down. And that is all in Aubert, which is the name of the town that I invented. It's an amalgamation of real towns. There's no one single town in France that is my Aubert of my series. But that kind of inspired, how the town is like mostly older people and how it's kind of struggling to kind of keep the community together. And that's a real life issue in France. In any case, during our trip, so I was obviously looking everywhere for different chateaus. Tree alleys, I love tree alleys. And of course, my Château Nocturne in the series has a long tree alley, not exactly like this one, not these cropped down, more warm weather trees, but I picture bigger, taller, straight trees. But still, I love the effect of a tree alley leading to the chateau at the end. And finally, not too far from where I live is actually the corner of Switzerland, but it's very close to the border of Germany, is the chateau. And I went there just to kind of cement ideas. Like, I like to go for long walks. That helps me get inspiration, but I would go there and look, and that helped me with the little details to put in the story. And one of the details I loved is the gazebo there. So I'll show you a little video of walking through the gazebo, and I imagine the hero and heroine kind of secretly meeting there, or maybe arguing there, or maybe having a secret nocturnal meeting, hush hush, in there. So that is going to be in book 3, actually, the gazebo. It's mentioned in book 1 and 2, but the actual scene set there is going to be in book 3. Also in this one, close to the German border, but it's in Switzerland, they have these beautiful stables. And that is the inspiration that is the exact location of the stables. So the building itself is what I'm trying to describe when I talk about the stable at Château Nocturne. So I think it's fun to look back, from Scotland to England to France and Switzerland, picking up inspiration from big aspects, like what is going to be the setting, to what is going to be the plot, or what is going to be the driver, of this series. To little tiny details that might just make it into one scene or another, and details much smaller than what I've shown here. It's really exciting for me to finally be able to publish the first books in this series. There's 5. And I hope you've been enjoying them. If you haven't read it yet, book 1 is Brushed by Moonlight. I'm very proud and excited by this series, and I hope you like it too. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more back behind the scenes kind of information coming soon.